NASA offers millions of dollars to anyone who can recycle those bags of astronaut feces on the moon. Teenagers are delaying getting their driver's license, but why? And the police are investigating whether or not a foster mother traded a child for a monkey. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. I'm Jonesy, the host of Weird AF News. I like you. Thank you for being here. NASA is offering $3 million to anyone who can recycle the bags of astronaut poop that are on the moon. Man, these missions are getting weirder and weirder, aren't they? Now they're on to turds in space, offering a lot of money to clean up those turds in space. How would you like that? You work your entire life to be a scientist. You got aspirations to work at NASA, and then they put you on this poop duty. Wouldn't that be insulting? Maybe they're offering the gig to regular people, though. Maybe you don't have to be a scientist to figure this out. Let's keep reading and find out. I could use $3 million. And by the way, you guys can use my toilet to flush it if you'd like. Just FYI, the handle flushes up, not down. Up, not down. I've talked to my super Antonio about changing it, bringing it to down. He just gives me pushback all the time. He's like, what? It still works. Who cares? Like, yeah, Antonio, but it flushes up and not down. You don't see the problem here? Anyways, enough of my personal life on the show. Anyways, let's transport ourselves to the surface of the moon. Use your imagination. Come with me. On the surface of the moon, there's rocks. There's dust. There's discarded landers. Also, 96 bags of human feces, urine, and vomit that Apollo astronauts left behind. Didn't expect to see that in your mind's eye, did you? They left behind these bags of feces, urine, and vomit to lighten the weight of their spacecraft. This was about half a century ago. And now NASA's looking for a solution to this type of biological legacy, and they're willing to pay up to $3 million to anyone who proposes the right technology to remove it. Well, I've already offered my toilet. Anyone else have any other ideas? You could drop off dogs eat poop, don't they? Just drop off some dogs. Or better yet, dung beetles. Have you guys ever seen a dung beetle? They really like poop. They roll it around. I don't know what they do with it, but they love to make little poop balls and roll them around the landscape. Look, I'm no scientist. I'm just a guy that solves problems on the Weird AF News podcast. Many problems. No one listens to me, but, I'm here for the taking. Here's another thing you could do with the moon poops. Just get the White House on it because they seem to be experts at recycling BS, wouldn't you say? Also, grow potatoes. Has anyone considered that? Did you see the movie The Martian? He was using his poop to grow potatoes. Another thing we could do. Who doesn't want some moon potatoes? They probably taste stellar. See, pun intended. Okay, back to the story. This challenge here of recycling the moon crapola is called the Lunar Recycle Challenge. And now NASA is preparing to analyze the proposals and select the most promising technologies to deal with this crapola. We could soon know the systems that will transform human waste and space junk into water, energy, fertilizer, or even lunar building blocks. Are you hinting at the possibility of using feces, vomit, and urine to build houses on the moon, NASA? Is that what you're suggesting? Didn't consider that option. You're probably wondering why this was all left on the moon in the first place. Well, during the Apollo missions, the astronauts carried everything they needed to survive several days in space: food, water, oxygen, suits, and tools. But when the time to return came about, the weight of the spacecraft was very important. And in order to make room for the lunar samples that they collected on the moon, moon rocks, they had to leave behind what they no longer needed: used spacesuits, used technical equipment, packaging, and those 96 bags of human waste. And now, with the return of humans to the moon, so they hope, through the Artemis program, NASA would like to ensure that history does not repeat itself. They don't want to leave bags of waste on the moon in the future, so what do you do with it? I've already offered my toilet, which flushes up, not down. Could you also launch this into the sun? Could you launch bags of feces into the sun? What about Uranus? Can you launch poop into Uranus? Never thought to do such a thing. Perhaps you could launch crap toward Uranus. Can you blow up the human waste using a nuke? Send out a poop nuke. Just get rid of it that way. Can we maybe do the cheap thing and just leave it? I mean, the moon seems like a vast place. We're not going to go often. If there's a few bags of poop on the moon, I don't see what the big deal is. It's not even 100 bags of poop. Like, let's say there's another couple missions and now you got, I don't know, 300 bags of poop. It's still not quite Jersey, so I don't see the big deal. NASA says the Lunar Recycle Challenge is open to participants from all over the world, guys. So wherever you might be, you can bring your ideas to NASA. They'll listen. Engineers, scientists, startups, universities, and other innovators. I guess that's the category I'm in, other innovators. The goal is to find technologies and ideas capable of processing solid waste generated during these space missions. Proposals could be submitted in 2 categories, all with one idea in mind: reusing waste to produce useful resources, such as water fertilizers, construction materials, or biofuels. Yeah, fertilizers, like you could make potatoes, like in that movie. Who wouldn't want some poopy moon tots? I would. Teenagers are delaying getting their driver's licenses in the U.S., and parents would like to know why. For many middle-aged and older people, getting a driver's license was their first taste of long-awaited freedom, and one that they seized as soon as they could. I'm in that category as well. As soon as I could apply for a driver's license, as soon as I could take the tests and get one, I was there. I had a permit at the age of, 16, something like that, maybe 15. Had my driver's license by 16 and a half or whatever. Got it immediately because it meant freedom. But many of today's teens are putting off this rite of passage, according to data. Nearly 40% of teenagers delayed getting their license by 1 to 2 years, and 30% delayed by more than 2 years, according to a study led by Federico Vaca, professor and vice chair of the Department of Emergency Medicine at the University of California, Irvine Medical School. Seems like a strange thing for this guy to study. He's the vice chair of the Department of Emergency Medicine at a medical school. I don't know why he'd be studying driving statistics, but okay. I guess it's really hard to get grants these days. You got to branch out into other territories. Hey, Federico, you could get $3 million to figure out what to do with astronaut crap. Now, the article says it may seem mind-boggling to adults who have been driving for decades that anybody would delay this milestone, but it makes sense given the economic and mental health concerns surrounding teenagers, according to Federico. Mental health concerns? What does that have to do with not getting your driver's license? Oh, that's right. The entire generation has ADHD. I forgot. That's not good for driving. Yeah, you can't have easily distracted young people behind the wheel, you know. One moment they're driving, the next minute they're like, a chipmunk. Yeah. Now, this article goes into the several factors contributing to teenagers being reluctant to begin driving. Let's see if we agree with them, because I got some ideas as to why this is going on. It says it used to be that only kids in cities with public transportation like New York City and Washington, D.C. could easily get around town. Now, with the availability of rideshare apps, more teenagers can get where they need to go. So rideshare apps, yes, that's definitely a contributing factor. Super easy. They're on your smartphone. It says teenagers are also so busy with all the extra activities they think they need to get into college, they don't have time for it. I disagree with that one. They also say that teenagers socialize mostly online these days, which means they don't need to leave home to hang out with their friends. Oh, I'm sure that's a huge factor. Economics also plays a part. Parents and caregivers who need to spend more time working to keep the family afloat don't have time to give driving lessons. He said, that is not true. I'm going to say no on that one. Economics does play a part, but it's more like it costs way too much to insure these kids. It costs way too much to buy them even a used car. Have you seen the prices of used cars lately? Gas has gone up, so it's more expensive in that way. That's the economic factor. Now the article gets into mental health issues that hold kids back from getting a driver's license. It says mental health concerns are common among today's teens. 40% of students responded to a behavior survey said they experience persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. That's a big problem that often keeps teens from getting their license, according to Dr. Rhonda Boyd. Well, I disagree with that for the most part. They're always trying to just squeeze mental health into every issue here, when a lot of the times it doesn't have a huge factor. That's the end of their reasons. They don't even mention that kids don't have a place to go. Where are you going to go? Used to have malls you could hang out at, arcades, the forest. All of those have disappeared for the most part. It is too expensive to go and do any sort of extracurricular activity out there in the world. Have you gone bowling lately? You seen the cost of bowling? Used to be able to bowl for hours. It cost me $10. Now, go bowling with a group of friends. Play pool with a group of friends. Do you remember how cheap pool used to be? Used to put 4 quarters on the edge of the pool table, and I could then get in a game. It's outrageous, the prices for anything. These kids, where are they going to go? Do what? So that is a huge factor, along with a couple of things they mentioned, huge. The social life thing is big. They're doing it online. Social life used to be face-to-face in physical space, and it's not. Another thing is kids are buying electric bicycles. I've seen that a lot lately. Those electric bikes, they're cheaper. You don't have to get a license. You can get all over the place with them. They go like 35 miles an hour or whatever. This is an alternate to getting around if you have to get around. So these are the factors. I'm not even talking about half of these things. Like the fact that no one's mentioned the price of a used car has gone up in the past 2 years to an astronomical level in this article. Just lets me know these are a bunch of morons who are out of touch that are getting paid a lot of money to do studies that get us nowhere. How are you supposed to regulate something when you don't even know the entire landscape of the issue? And you call yourself doctors, PhDs? Here's another factor no one talks about. Do you know that younger generations really don't, they're not really into getting laid? That's a huge issue when it comes to wanting a car. When I was a teenager, I wanted a car for a lot of reasons. One of them was so I could be alone with a lady. That was a huge factor. Hooking up in cars was like a thing that we did. These kids aren't hooking up. These kids seem to be asexual as far as I can witness. So no one's talking about that, of course. These people are stupid. The article goes on to ask at the end, should you make your child get a license? Well, you probably shouldn't force your child to get a license, but maybe try and push them in that direction because eventually, it's very useful to have a driver's license. Don't you want to eventually drive? I'm sure you could come up with some rewards for your child if they go and get their license. Not to say that you have to purchase them a car right away, but just it's something that they should, eventually get. Like a passport even. Passports, you should have a passport too, in my opinion. I think a huge structural change needs to happen in the culture though, and that is someone needs to create free and cheap places for people to congregate. Not just teenagers either. Me. I can't afford to go out drinking with my friends here in Los Angeles. I can't afford it. I can't afford to go out to dinners. I can't afford it. Where do we go? I play softball and sports as often as possible because that's a cheap way to congregate. But there's not a place where, and imagine being a teenager. Where do you go even if you do have a driver's license? Where do you go even if you can move around because you have an electric bike or you have access to rideshare apps and your mom's credit card? What are you going to do? Yeah, everything is too expensive. Does anyone have ideas? Anybody out there? Email me, funnyjones@gmail.com.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
Police are investigating whether or not a Missouri foster mother traded a child for a monkey. A foster mother in Missouri has been taken into custody as authorities look into whether or not she gave up one of her children in exchange for this monkey. Her name is Brenda Deutsch of Winfield, Missouri. She fostered more than 200 children over the years. Wow, wonderful. How large is her exotic animal collection? I'd like to know. About 200? Might want to investigate some cases here. She fostered more than 200 children over the years, as well as reportedly being a collector of exotic animals. She now faces 3 felony counts of neglect, child abuse, and child endangering. The charges stem from allegations of a missing child that was later located in Texas. They believe she traded the child for a monkey. First of all, is a human child even worth a monkey? You would think that a human child's worth at least 3 monkeys, so this is just bad negotiation on her part already. Well, some would argue that primate for primate is equal value, but come on now. You can get a lot more for a human, I think, these days. I'll trade you human for monkey, donkey, emo, and termite.
Huh?
I'll trade you human for monkey, donkey, emo, and termite.
What?
I'll trade you human for monkey, donkey, emo, and termite.
Oh.
Now, they have a witness here who was all part of it. They came forward with information regarding the systemic abuse that was going on in the home, they claim. And they said that they had been asked to bring the child down to Texas and bring the monkey back in return. Can you imagine being this dumb, too? You're going to trade a kid for a monkey, and then you have a witness do it? Hey, you want to take this kid down there? Bring back a monkey. Wait a minute, you're not trading a child for a monkey, are you? Nah, what would make you think that? Now, the other crime here that no one's pointing out in this story is that somebody traded a monkey for a child. And, depending on the mannerisms of the child, that also can be considered a criminal offense. Wouldn't you agree? Now, there's all kinds of allegations against this lady, Deutsch. Pretty heinous and disturbing to read, they say. I'm probably not going to read them. They seem too disturbing and heinous. They involve a lot of abuse, mentally, physically, emotionally, neglect, you can imagine. And if you saw a photo of her, you would understand why. This person looks exactly like a foster mother that would trade a child for a monkey. She actually looks like the kind of foster mother that would trade a child for some crack, if we're being honest. She looks like Iggy Pop with a wig. Can you guys envision this? I'm so sorry. I think one of the definitive statements we can finally make, because we've got the data already, and that is, in rural America, anyone who owns exotic animals is probably a trash person and should be investigated immediately. And the property should be scoured for, well, you can just imagine. I did a story yesterday about a guy. This is never ending. They're trash people, clearly. Now, it says this lady, Deutsch, who looks like Keith Richards in a wig, was taken into custody over the weekend. She is due to appear in court. No word about what. Did you get the kid back from Texas? Are we okay with the kid? What about the child? This child needs to be okay. It doesn't say. And what about the other 200 children she fostered? Are they going to come forward? Are they scattered all over the globe because she traded them for zebras and wombats?
At the Home Depot, Spring Black Friday is here, and we've got 14 days of deals to transform your space. So what are you working on? How about a quick and stylish patio furniture update? And what's outdoor dining without a shiny new grill? Find a wide selection of grills under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner for only $229 at the Home Depot. Then add a little ambiance with string lights. Shop 14 days of deals during Spring Black Friday, now through April 16th at the Home Depot.
Hello, my dear friends and close ones. Thanks for spending some time with your buddy Jonesy and the Weird AF News podcast. Let's give thanks and praise, like Bob Marley always sang. Give thanks and praise. We got someone bought me coffees off my website, weirdafnews.com. It's Janet in Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, I need to go to Nashville someday, Janet. And when I do, you're going to get a message. I got a friend that just moved over there, and sounds like an amazing place. Anyways, Janet wrote me this lovely note when she bought me coffees off my website, weirdafnews.com, which you can totally do so. And you get to write a little love note. She wrote, "Hey, Jonesy, thank you for keeping on with the Weird AF News. Man, you don't know how awesome you are. Enjoy some coffee or anything else that might help you to relax and unwind. Best wishes, hugs, Janet in Nashville, Tennessee." Isn't that sweet? What a sweet, lovely message from a sweet, lovely woman who listens and supports Weird AF News over the years. I'm so, so grateful. I also got a review by Steph Thomas. She wrote me a nice review on Amazon Music. I wasn't able to access the review because you need an Amazon Music account, which I don't have. I'm looking at, it looks like I just got a portion of the review. She cut and pasted it for me, but then it says, "And Jonesy, then you said lascivious, and I knew I was home. I enjoy this highly entertaining, oddly informative newscast every day at work here in Chattanooga." Isn't that Tennessee as well? Look at this, 2 individuals from Tennessee. Do you guys know each other? Lovely women. She says, this is such a refreshing and engaging alternative to mainstream doom and gloom news. Jonesy's sweet, funny, and irresistibly likable. I feel as if I'm missing something from my day when I miss this podcast. 5 stars, 5 well-deserved stars. Look at that. Even Steph Thomas, so generous, gave me 5 stars. That is so cool. Appreciate that very much, guys. Leaving messages, writing reviews on the various platforms is helpful, I believe. I don't know if it increases my reach or anything like that, but I think, well, it feels good. You know, what's wrong with feeling good? I make me feel good. You guys make me feel good. So when you leave me a message, I love that. I mean, a review, I love that. And a message, I love that too. So super helpful. Anyways, if you guys want to support the show, go to weirdafnews.com where you can buy a coffee or join the Patreon. Or, you know, if you're broke as a joke, like most people are, you can leave a review on Amazon, Amazon Music, Amazon Books, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. What else? You can, if you're listening on Spotify, you can just give me, I think it's stars, 5 stars, a star, thumbs up. Something very simple. You can't write anything, but you can give like a rating. Takes a second, so help out with that. Appreciate it. Anyways, appreciate you. I'll respect your time and get out of here at about 20. Here we go. Bye.